Hello everyone, my name is Ananya Agroya and today I'm here with advocate Aashutosh Srivastava. So to begin, let's talk a bit about your work. So could you tell us about it?
Yes, as people know, I am basically a lawyer. I practice in different courts and like Supreme Court and many other high courts. And I like to practice basically about many complex cases across country. I travel to many of the places to attend my cases, and my interest area is basically the financial issues which are very rampant in our country nowadays. We see many PMLA cases, CBI cases. Uh, I am more inclined towards the criminal offenses what we see, and also the criminal cases. Though I practice even for the civil matters, but my main focus is always about the criminal cases in the country.
Okay, so to begin this discussion, can you explain to our audience why exactly the Supreme Court decided to reject the petitions to legalize same-sex marriage in 2023?
See, Supreme Court, I think, was absolutely correct in making such a decision, because see, it is something you are talking about, making a law in the country,
Right.
which was not existing
Right.
before. You say that same-sex marriage should be included in the Special Marriage Act. Okay, so that should be included, and that should be allowed. So the Supreme Court was of the view that this is something which is concerning the common people of this country, and common people of this country are being represented by the parliamentarians, the member of parliament who are elected by the people.
Right, yeah.
So different people may have different view regarding this, so far as our customs or our past, or if you see the rituals and everything, the sentiments of people, basically that those are concerned. So why not it be decided by the parliament itself? If people are of the view that any new law should come in, then it is the role of the parliament where this matter can be discussed at length. So all the ifs and cons, the positivity, negativity, whatever, everything can be discussed by the elected members who have been elected by the people in a democracy. And these people, their views are being reflected to what these, member of parliament, they speak in the parliament. So they can be represented. So it will be a decision which will be coming up, that will be from the majority of the people. What people want. Okay, so this decision of making any law is basically the role of the parliament,
Right.
or the statute, or any state government, or the central government, who should make laws, taking into consideration the sentiment of people, the comfort of people, their opinion, their views, what is more comfortable to them, how things will be better in the interest of public at large, about the welfare of the people, about the upbringing of the children who will be adopted, or whatever would be the situation in future. So their future, because the future of this country will depend on the future of the children. So all these aspects can be decided by a parliament, not maybe by a court of law, because Supreme Court is here to analyze whatever law is existing, whether those laws are proper or not, whether they are inconsistent with the provisions of the constitution of this country or not. So that is the basic idea of of the Supreme Court. It is actually supposed to be the guardian of the constitution. So now here we are talking about new laws, making new laws. So that, I think, Supreme Court, in the majority of the judges, because the 5 judges bench was set up, we know.
Yeah.
And majority of them decided on 17th of October last year in 2023 that this should be the role and responsibility of the parliament, not of the Supreme Court. So that was the view. However, we know that Supreme Court was very much clear that the interest of any special category should be protected. So it said that this LGBTQ, they should be protected, the community should be protected, they should not be humiliated or discriminated by the people at large. So that was the idea. So the Supreme Court was very much also on the other side, that okay, the Supreme Court has not objected if they want to continue the relationship like a live-in partners, but not as marriage, because that should be decided by the parliament.
Okay. And how likely do you think that the parliament is to take such actions?
See, it is up to the parliament. I think it can discuss the issue. The bill can be made, or it can be decided. It can be produced for discussions, and based on the discussions and votes, and looking at the view of the majority of the member of parliament, because they are being elected by the people. So their majority view will be the view of the people of this country. So that should be taken into consideration, and accordingly the laws, if required, can be made, or can be also rejected to be made. That will be all the discretionary power and decision of
Right.
the parliamentarians, considering our democratic system.
Okay. And so after the 2023 verdict, what were the legal avenues that were available to the LGBTQ community when they wanted to, do things like adoption, or talking about inheritance rights, which is why they were fighting for the marriage rights in the first place? What legal avenues were available?
See, the avenues, they were the petitions which were filed, and now also if you see the review petition, they say that this same-sex marriage should be included in the Special Marriage Act 1954,
Yeah.
which was made in 1954, which was affected. So it should be included, and being having liberties in the country, having the constitutional right to take decision. So the marriage should also be a part of that individual's decision making process.
Right.
That whom should I marry and whom should I not, that should be the decision which should be taken by an individual, a citizen of this country. So that was the basic idea. But see, that is not, you would say that it is encroachment upon anybody's liberties. Because see, even in Hindu Marriage Act, there are certain relationships which are restricted for marriages. We know it very well. Because in blood relations, very close blood relations, there cannot be a marriage, even
Yeah.
if it's opposite sex involved, but that is not possible,
Right.
because
Yeah.
it comes under the restricted relationship. So even in that case, for that matter, there has been certain guidelines which were already put across, to maintain a decency, and also respecting the custom of this country and everything. So those laws are already there,
Okay.
right? So here they were of the view that it should be included, because it is an individual's choice, and everybody is independent in this country. They have the freedom of speech and expression, and also Article 21, freedom of having all the liberties. But we know that liberties have certain restrictions also,
Of course.
considering the sentiments of people, and and a lot of things which the lawmakers, they consider while making any law. So here also, I think, while considering whether such law should be made or not, the parliament would be the best place to decide it.
Okay. And so, talking about your own personal experience, have you seen any such cases regarding issues that stemmed from the 2023 verdict? And could you share what steps were taken in the legal aspect for this?
See, we know that obviously, respecting every individual of this country, many of them would not like any such law, and obviously many of them would like to have such law. So respecting each and everybody's sentiment here, when this decision came up in 2023, and this petition regarding legalizing the same sex marriage was rejected by the Supreme Court. So based on certain aspect, now the review petitions have been filed before the Supreme Court.
Right.
And we know that while filing any review petition, if you consider Order 47, Rule 1 of the Civil Procedure Code, which says that only when you think that there has been error apparent on the face of record while passing any decree or a judgment, then you can go for review. Or if there is any discovery of new document or any evidence which you could not produce at the time of the previous hearing when this decree was passed. So on those grounds, basically, or if you have any special ground to go, but you cannot go only on the merits of the case which has already been decided.
Right.
Right. So here, if you see, we know that out of that 5 judges bench, 2 judges have already retired in the Supreme Court. So now it has been taken over by additional 2 judges. So whenever a review petition is filed, it is generally heard in the chamber of the judges. Now, I know that some of the petitioners, they had made a submission in the Supreme Court that this matter be heard in the open court,
courts.
but it was again rejected considering the kind of custom being followed, and it is going to be decided by the special constitutional bench of 5 judges, and that too in their chambers. So we will have to wait as to what order comes in. But yes, I think whatever order comes again will be in the interest of the people at large, and I'm sure this bench will take care of the of the welfare and the sentiments of people, and will pass an order which will be in the interest of majority of people of this country,
Okay.
and also safeguarding our democratic system.
That's important, yeah.
Yes.
And talking about the petitions that are being reviewed today, what is the significance of the Supreme Court reviewing these petitions, and why did they decide to do it?
See, we know that review petitions are filed, as I said, as per the provisions and the conditions laid down in Order 47 Rule 1 of
Yeah.
CPC when there is any civil matter. It has been filed because I guess that some of the people who were not happy with that decision, and they felt that the Supreme Court would not have seen certain aspects of the petition, maybe with that view, and also that some of the issues which they think might not have been considered by the Supreme Court, which would be a part of their filing. So considering those aspects, it may be decided. We know that as of now, I think only 36 countries across the globe, they recognize same-sex marriage, and it is the law in those countries. But here in our country, as of now, it is not there, because there are other issues also involved. How about the children, how they are going to be adopted, what will happen, in terms of if there is any separation of the couple. Okay, the custody will go to whom?
Right.
Right? And how about the development of the children? Whether a child requires the love and affection of both the father and the mother. So those aspects are very important to be determined, while making the law by the parliament. And I think they will consider many such psychological reports also about the children, their growth, how they are going to, tackle this kind of a, parental situation. So all these aspects, I think, will be looked after even now by the Supreme Court, and if not now, if it is again rejected, then obviously by the parliament.
The parliament, right. And so what do you think could be the potential outcome today?
I think, as I said, I'm sure it will be very much in the interest of the people at large, and Supreme Court will decide the matter legally. And I'm sure, as we have seen many such orders, Supreme Court has always come up to safeguard the interest of the people and their constitutional rights, and also has always stood up as the guardian of our constitution, and also to safeguard the democratic system of our country. So I'm sure the same sentiment will be followed today also, and Supreme Court will come up with a very nice decision in the interest of everyone.
So, sir, based on the decision today, whether they agree to legalize it or no, what could be the legal and societal implications of that decision?
As we know that many people may have different views and opinions whether same-sex marriage should be legalized or not. So I would say that a decision cannot come which can make everyone happy.
Right.
So some people will be unhappy, obviously, but here what we have to see, the larger interest of the people, the welfare of the children, the future of the country, and also that the powers which have been given to the parliamentarians by the constitution should not be snatched away by any court. And that also we have seen that the Supreme Court has always protected. So I'm sure it will come up with a very nice decision.
Okay. And do you know of any legal frameworks that have been adopted in other countries, like the countries that have legalized same-sex marriage?
Yes, they have legalized. They have come up with a proper act, about adoption of children, their, custody, then what happens during separation, because it's a very, detailed kind of an act which requires a lot of inclusions, even the inheritance of properties by the
Yeah.
children. So a lot of new aspects will come up. So it is not just including, maybe inclusion of same-sex marriage will only justify or will clarify the issue.
Yeah.
But apart from that, many laws are also required to be amended thereafter.
Right. Yeah.
Because then it has to be included in many ways.
And how do you think that the public opinion has changed for the LGBTQ community?
Yes, I do understand. See, previously, if you see, nobody was, hardly people were interested to acknowledge such kind of a law. But now we have seen with the changing time, changing, world, and people, going across the globe, looking at different laws, different ways of living, different social, framework in different countries. So now the acceptance by the people at large is on a higher side. I don't say that all of the so many people will agree, but yes, definitely the percentage has increased with the changing time, that they also recognize, and people understand the issues faced by the LGBTQ people, and they feel that they should be protected, they should not be discriminated. And this is how, I mean, people's opinion have changed during this long gap of time.
And how do you see the current legal frameworks adapting to the LGBTQ community's needs and their changing rights? What changes do you think should be made in the
See,
future?
we know that certain laws were scrapped by the Supreme Court, certain laws were amended, changed by the Supreme Court, considering the changes in the way of living in our society. So now, earlier we know that even there has been amendment in section 377 of IPC, the previous law, and now at least same-sex people can stay together as live-in
Live-in
partners,
partners.
which was not there earlier. So with the changing time, even the apex court has come up, with understanding, and it has also understood the sentiments of certain people, how they should be treated, how they should be protected, they should not be discriminated, they should also be treated with lot of respect and dignity, because they also have the equal right to stay in our society with love, affection and dignity. This is what the Supreme Court has always protected. But
Right.
marriage concept is somewhat different, and I'm sure if it goes to the parliament, which will take care, while passing any such orders, or maybe any act enacting such kind of bill or act.
Right. Lastly, sir, what advice would you like to give to aspiring lawyers who are passionate to fight for LGBTQ rights?
See, I have seen many young lawyers also now, fighting for their clients, their rights, in this case as well. And they have really done so well. They have brought a lot of research, also the laws of different countries. They have gone through the detailed, knowledge about this particular issue, and they have highlighted before the Supreme Court. So I think they have already done the best possible from whatever they could have done, and they have really done a wonderful job. Now, as we know that the apex court has to consider everything onto the merit of the case, and also, the constitution has to be protected, and they have to also see that what kind of powers they should utilize, and what not, in the interest of the people at large. So accordingly the Supreme Court will decide, but that doesn't mean that the lawyers who fought for this special category of people who wanted certain relief from the Supreme Court, they really have done wonderful job. So no doubt about it.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.